as the management edge says that, what get measured gets done. So it's very important for diversity and inclusion as well, because the biases which actually perpetuate the workplace inequality are generally unconscious. People are not aware about it. So unless you make it very amply clear and start measuring it, people are not even going to rely on that. People may not even realize that there are some biases which are being placed. Also, shifting an entire paradigm shift from culture fit to D&I, it requires much more than some well-intended policy, because that alone is not going to work. So without proper measure, the D&I and outcomes and tendency, which is not going to work, because there will be a tendency to go back to your behavior pattern or your habitual thinking. So the metrics actually helps the organization to stay on track on D&I and also identify the management biases and blind spots, which are generally hidden. So I would say matrix is very, very important. So the organizations in recent past are very focused. I do, interact with my industry colleagues, and they are very focused. It is improving. I will say that we are just up there. We really need to still cover a lot of ground, but we are reaching there. That's what I would say that. And people are also realizing that this should not be just a tick box exercise, and it should be a very meaningful culture building where inclusion is part of your culture and not just some numbers on diversity, gender diversity, or any other diversity. And then you say that, okay, I have taken care of it. It's just entirely ingrained into the culture of the organization, and that's where I would say that organization has truly achieved this diversity and inclusion piece in the organization. So there are a number of things which comes on top of my mind. One is assess the risk profile of the organization and your policies against any kind of bullying or harassment. So organization need to run a comprehensive risk assessment, which is very subtle but very meticulously planned and researched, which will actually give confidence to employees that yes, the management is serious about it. Second is about establishing very well-written, well-communicated zero tolerance policy against any kind of safety norms, violation of safety norms in the organization. Third, I would say the training, because you need to really train people on a very regular basis that what organization's thought process is on this aspect and how serious the management is about. And the fourth most important, I would say, is the mental factor. Because even a single, I think one has to be very, very sensitive. The organization, the management, people dealing with any of these safety aspects have to be very, very sensitive to it. Because even a single incident can traumatize deeply to the employees, and which can actually go into any kind of anxiety, depression, or even disengagement from the organization. So I think these are the very key points. I would say that to make employees feel safe, we should really do this. I would say the active learning and growth mindset, which is something which is going to be very critical for this, because any leader who is actually having that growth mindset is going to realize that the capabilities can be developed, the intelligence can be utilized, provided you are ready to learn. So your mindset has to be very focused on that. They will also see that building the skill will really help organization into taking to the next level, and even the ambiguity will not deter them, because they know that anything can be surmounted provided you are ready to learn. So I would say the active learning and growth mindset is going to be very critical in times to come. Although I firmly believe, that leadership is gender agnostic as such. But having said that, yes, there are some unique challenges women leaders face, and One typical example, I would say that most of the women leader would have been asked, and when I have been asked many a times, how do you successfully manage family and the career? Why this question is never ever asked to a male leader? Family is for everyone. So yes, there are some unique, I would say, some kind of a funny challenges as well, because uh, what happens, the percentage of women at the leadership level is minuscule even now. So they are very minutely judged. All right. So either women are being said that they are too emotional, or it's been just said that they are too, they are not emotional at all. Then sometimes it's said that women who choose family over work are not great mothers, and women who choose the other way around are not great leaders. But the truth is, women leader knows very well what to prioritize and how to prioritize when. So it's a very unfair kind of judgment, which women kind of have to prove themselves that no, they are good leaders, no matter what they may be, prioritizing. Uh, Also, I would say one thing where, how I actually kind of very consciously work towards it, because I actually kind of focused on only one thing, that, never lose focus from your career. So it means that always looking out for the opportunities. Even sometimes what happens, and leaning towards the opportunities which are initially it may sound very challenging, or it may sound very difficult, but you need to prove that how you can actually add value to the organization, and pick up challenges which are difficult. And then I think you are home and you are establishing yourself as a serious leader, be it a woman or a man. I think it applies. I still believe it applies to everyone. But to overcome these biases, I think it helps when you are very focused on your career. I have worked with coaches, but unfortunately, I would say I didn't have any assigned coach to myself as such. I have actually given coaches to my CEOs, my other stakeholders, but it's little informal kind of a journey during my leadership journey. I've been very observant of people or successful leaders, that how they are tackling the situation. They could be a male or a women leader, and I think that has really helped me actually in this journey. So I wouldn't say that I really had a coach per se, but yes, I've learned from many people in my career, I would say. Sharing the vision is extremely important. The clarity of thought. The leader should know that should have clear idea that where they want to go, how they want to go, and how the success is going to look. So that's one part of it. Secondly is making hard decisions. To be a very effective leader, one has to have that ability to take very fast and fast decisions, in spite of at times not having enough resources or enough information. Because I think in a demanding business, the timely decision is something very important, and for leadership, that's very important trait, I would say. Third would be recognize success for the team, because that's consistently recognizing success for the team members. I think it's very important for any inspiring leader, because the team is going to know that whatever work they are doing is meaningful, and they actually look forward to perform much better. Next would be empowering the team. So yes, as a leader, you need to be very clear about what you are expecting from the team, but you also need to be very clear and very clearly giving out the deadline along with the authority and autonomy to how the work is being done. So leaders should never get into how you should do this. They should allow team to work that out, and last one, I would say the humility, because humility allows a leader to connect at multiple levels, be it your internal stakeholders or external stakeholders. So you really learn a lot if you have humility. Otherwise, you'll be sitting in your, ivory tower and maybe may not be aware what's going on around you. So I think these are very, very important attributes, I would say, for the effective leadership.